Welcome. I'm Paul Gilbert, and you have joined Strategic Leadership Channel. So, in this channel, we study elements of strategy and leadership to help us develop organizations into the best that they can be. Now, to do this, we today are talking about an interview, the second interview that I did with Tom O'Rourke, a remarkable leader with fantastic insights. So, Tom joined us on a podcast, and I encourage you to get the full content at Strategic Leadership Podcast. Tom's a remarkable fellow. He is a professor of practice at the Clemson University School of Park Recreation and Tourism Management. He served for many years as the executive director of the Charleston County Park and Recreation Commission. He is a consultant with Branstetter Carroll. He's a city council member for the city of Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and he's an influencer. He goes around, he goes to conferences all over the country. I've seen him at many of these, and he absolutely fills the halls with people coming to get insights from this remarkable leader with such a great focus on leadership. In the previous podcast, he boiled down leadership to four key elements: vision, honesty, courage, and humility. That is a wonderful formula to move forward with any discussion about leadership. In this podcast, in this discussion, we really talked a lot about the difference between leadership and management, and we tried to give due to both sides. Many of the memes out there you'll see kind of put down management and say, management's bad and leadership's good. I really believe you need both. If you are not a well-managed organization, you simply can't continue to function. However, the Professor John Kotter from the Harvard School of Business has written and talked a lot about this subject. And he talks about how many organizations are over-managed and under-led. They're really just different skill sets that complement each other, that you need both at the same time. And we had a great discussion, Tom and I, about the difference between the two. One of the areas that we talked about was in personnel management, where the leadership perspective is more about inspiring and motivating your staff to do great things, whereas a management perspective is a little more focused on controlling, getting predictable outcomes, and those things need to be done too. Tom really approached it from the leadership perspective, which is no surprise, and he gave a great story about when he joined Charleston County Park and Recreation Commission with a fantastic team and how he approached that. Probably most organizations are overmanaged and underled. So what do you think about that, Tom? Have you seen and experienced that?
I have I lived that actually in my last job, where it was an interesting situation. In fact, I was a director of two departments. The first one was the Mount Pleasant Recreation Department in the city that I live in. And when I got that job, I wanted it really bad. I had 0 days experience in the park and recreation field. I knew a lot of people. A lot of people knew me on a favorable basis. I had a degree in parks and recreation. My father was a recreation director for a long time, but I didn't know what I was doing. And I applied for one of the top jobs in the whole state, and I got it. And so not only was I being held under a microscope by the people that I work for, the entire state and all the many people that applied for that job that didn't get it were wondering, who is this guy? So what I had to make sure I didn't do was to walk into a situation where I really didn't understand the system, the management, to people that were really good at it. And I had to take a step back. And together, we had to decide whose roles were going to be what roles. And I actually stayed away from a lot of the management. I trusted great managers to manage. When I got to Charleston County Parks, it was like even more, because the managers there, holy heck, they could do anything where I could do nothing as it related to individual tasks. So I made sure, and what helped me, I think, in my position was I didn't pretend like I could. I didn't pretend like, let me tell you how this is going to be done, and let me tell you how we're going to do it. Never, zero did I do that. And so what I got the opportunity to do is learn management through great managers and trust. And I think as we're looking at 2 slides, leadership and management, I think you can learn a lot about leadership through efficient management. And so I knew what my personality was. I knew what I was good at. I knew what I wasn't good at. But what I think helped me in each of those organizations was that I was a student of the profession and what we did based on the great managers that were there.
Okay, that was great insights into how to be a leader. In this podcast, we ended with a little bit on networking. So you do networking not because you want to know a lot of people. It's not about your popularity. As a leader, you do networking because you want to know where to find answers. So if you know everyone in your field and you know who has done amazing work and been really innovative in various areas, then when you run into a challenge of any kind, you know who to pick up the phone with, you know who to ask to do a Zoom call, and you have those relationships already built. You know who has the answers out there, and you can step forward and lead your organization to overcome that challenge. So here's a little bit of Tom and I talking about networking.
Every time I've spoken at every school I've worked at, I've gotten more than I've given in the relationships with people. And you meet these people like you have that change you, that you're so much better off by having had the opportunity to know them and meet them. And they become tremendous friends, colleagues, allies, and keeping them close is vital. It's really important.
So Tom, why don't we kind of wrap up this session on that subject of networking, and specifically why that's important for leaders? Because I think people in general think, okay, networking sounds good, but it seems a little fuzzy. Are they friends on your Facebook, which is different? Those are connections, but that's a different kind of connection than going to conferences, building out your LinkedIn. I was telling a young person I know recently that the cool kids, I said, you and me, hang out on LinkedIn, just to make them laugh. And my girls roll their eyes at that. But at one level, it's take the term cool kids out. At one level, it's true. So why do you think people need to network outside of just the people they interact with every day to hone their leadership skills and help them move up the leadership scale?
Yeah, I think that we don't know it all, and when you get a group of people together, it's amazing what comes out of there. There's so much we individually don't know, but for me, it's and I know this is not for everybody. It's my motivation. These people inspire me. I get an opportunity to say, just in the back of my mind, oh my goodness, you're the most awesome person. And to see what they do, not who they are. We're not allowed to use names, but like Malik Willoughby from Columbus, who
Yeah.
There's nobody like Malik in this world. Nobody.
He's remarkable.
And the Malik lets me be in his life.
Yeah.
And there's never been a time I haven't spoken to him or written to him where I haven't felt better about myself. But Malik's different because you want somebody that's going to push you a little. going to challenge you a little.
And
And
and if you look at what he does, I mean, he is a leader through and
there's no
through.
one like him.
Yeah.
No, there's no one like him. And he is changing his entire community there. He's the best. He's the best that I know. And I know you're not supposed to rank, but you know what? He motivates me. And it's funny. I hear people talk about mentoring and all this stuff, and I want to throw up on my computer. You know, mentoring a lot of time is like really old guys, men that like think they know what they're talking about. They want to take a 20-year-old to teach them stuff. That's not mentoring to me. I think, you have a whole many types of mentors, and you give and you take from each. I have so many. Everybody I deal with is a mentor of mine right now. So those connections are important, very important, so that you could just stay current, know what's going on, and hopefully, there's a lot of people struggling. But the other thing about networking that's kind of fun is, helping people find the right job, be that person. I get a lot of calls still. I'm going to interview for another position, and can I talk to you a little bit about it? And what's so funny in those conversations? You don't tell them anything. You just reinforce the things they already know about themselves. But being a person willing to do that, I think, is important. And when you're my age, we owe it to the professionals, to the younger people in this field. I feel like I owe a debt of gratitude to give back. It's why I'm at Clemson. It's the favorite thing I do. And if I can help out people in this field, I want to be there for them.
So one of the things that I get out of networking is simply knowing the right person to ask the question. Sometimes in an organization, if you don't have the answer and the people immediately around you don't have the answer, you need to pick up the phone and give a call to someone who does, or post something to your contacts on LinkedIn, or send an email to somebody. And when your network expands and you don't just know their name and their title and where they're from, but you know a bit about them and you know about their successes and challenges, then when you hit a similar one, you can call them up and say, I need your advice. And you can grow so much with that. I was just thinking about just a couple of years ago, you had organized a group and we all met, and we were in this beautiful cottage on the Potomac River, sitting out on the deck. And you intentionally don't have too much structure, just enough structure to get us together and get us talking. Yeah. But then you also understand the magic happens outside of that structure, in the conversations that happen and the ideas that flow from that. And we're all hearing those ideas and learning things. And we don't know. It may be a month later, it may be 6 months later, 6 years later, that all of a sudden, we think, I need that. And I know where to get it now.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason there didn't need to be a structure was look who was in that room.
Yeah, it was great. Okay. It was amazing.
I think these are the best in the entire profession. So, it's good to have those groups of people. I need Paul Gilberts in my life, the structured, the professionals, the ones that are going to have the right answer. And I need Malik's in my life. I need spiritual leaders. I need all different types of people there. And it's an awesome responsibility, I think, to put yourself out there for people, but I think we owe it to them.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today. Strategy and leadership are so important to any organization. I know that you'll get a lot out of the 2 podcast interviews we did with Tom O'Rourke. I encourage you to go and listen to them both. We couldn't do them justice in the little time we had today, but if you go to Strategic Leadership Podcast on any of your podcasting channels, whether that be Apple Podcast, Google, Spotify, you'll find it there. And please listen to the whole thing. Like, subscribe, comment, One of the reasons I ask you to do that here is it will help others find this content, which will then help them on their leadership journey. Thank you so much.